Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e, and as it happens, we're going to talk about the fighter. Not so much the ranged fighter, any fighter, it really doesn't matter. I want to talk about action surge. That's the one thing that most people really want. It doesn't even matter if you're playing a fighter. People multi-class into the fighter, get those levels, 2 levels in fighter, and now they have action surge, which is a huge benefit. So let's explain why it is. So action surge, it's only a fighter ability. It's often picked up very, very quickly by people who multi-class. And if you look on page 72 of the player's handbook, you'll see a description of how action surge works, including what has to be some incredibly poorly structured sentences that are confusing and also misleading in some way. So this is what we have so far. Action surge. Starting at 2nd level, you can push yourself beyond your normal limits for a moment. On your turn, you can take 1 additional action on top of your regular action and a possible bonus action. Okay, right there, I'm going to come back to that last little bit on that sentence, and a possible bonus action. Just ignore that nonsense. That's just it's a load of bollocks. Okay, it's the design team not realizing the structure and what people would think that would mean. Okay, so getting back to the text. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or a long rest before you can use it again. So starting at 17th level, you can use it twice before a rest. That doesn't matter whether it's a short rest or a long rest. So at 17th level, you get to use your action surge twice. Okay, but only once in the same turn. So even if you have 2 uses of your action surge, you could only ever apply them once in the same turn in any kind of combat. But you could use it twice in a combat, provided it's not on the same turn. Okay, so let's close the player's handbook and toss that away because we don't really need that anymore. And let's have a real hard look at what is going on in the player's handbook, because there are a few things this means. Okay, the first one is that you'll need 2 levels of fighter to gain access to action surge. So what tends to be the case is people will pick up something like the rogue. They'll play the rogue. They'll realize they only have 1 attack. And of course, if they miss, that's it. They don't get anything else. And it doesn't matter how high you are in terms of a rogue. You can be a character level of 6 with a rogue, and you still only ever get 1 attack. So what they tend to do is they will multi-class from a rogue into a fighter, pick up 2 levels in fighter to pick up that action surge. This can also be done with a paladin. Many different classes will do it. Also spellcasters. Now the rationale behind this is to be able to cast 2 spells that are an action rather than touching the bonus action spells. The concept behind it being that if we can do that, now we can cast 2 fireballs in the same turn and decimate the enemy, which I totally get, makes perfect sense to me. So the action surge allows a fighter to have 1 extra action on the same turn. Now here's the thing. That action surge is often used to make an attack, but it doesn't have to be used to make an attack. So rather than 1 action as the general stated rule, that's the general rule. Across the board, the general rule is you get 1 action, but this is an exception to the rule. Okay, it literally states that you are getting an exception to the rule. That's what action surge is. And when you're getting 2 actions, by using your action surge, you're using your regular action and then you use your action surge action. This is not the same thing as a bonus action. A bonus action is completely different. And you can only ever have 1 bonus action. I don't think there's any class features or abilities that I know of that allow you to have 2 bonus actions in the same turn. So action surge does not grant you 2 bonus actions, and it will not give you an additional movement doesn't give you another movement, it doesn't give you another interaction, it doesn't give you another reaction, okay? It doesn't grant you any additional aspects of movement, interactions, or reactions, or even a bonus action. It's not doing that at all. So you regain your your action surge on a short rest. So yes, we've got that. Now, I would like to point out that since you can regain your action surge on a short rest, don't wait for the long rest. Take the short rest, get it back. Action surge is a very specific class ability or rule that contradicts just about, well, all of the general rules as we've just discussed. And because action surge can allow a character to have 2 attacks, okay, and essentially make 2 attacks, each one being an action, or they could make an attack and cast a spell or cast 2 spells, it's really desirable. So I want to actually sort of pull that apart a little bit. And often what gets presented to me is, okay, how many attacks can I make? But I think a lot of people forget that your action surge gives you an action, and that action can be used to make another attack, but you can also do things like disengage or dash or search or use an object if you've already used your interaction, or you can ready an action with that action if you wanted to. All of those are opportunities and things that you can do. Action surge combined with the fighter's extra attack or any of the other classes that have extra attack will mean that you will be able to make a lot more attacks as you get up in the levels. Okay, so I want to bring up the screen and sort of pull it apart and show you. Today we're going to use the Chimera. Is it Chimera? Chimera? I believe it's a Chimera. Okay, so basically here's our scene. And I have my little fighter over here. They can move as normal, 5, 10, 15, 20, and attack. Okay, so I've still got a bit of movement left if I wanted to. And you roll your 20-sided dice, you add your modifier, you get 1 attack. Now, because you have action surge available, now you can decide to say, okay, well, I can still move. I can move around the creature if I wanted to. And I can also make another attack. So you roll your dice again, right? Instead of just 1 attack, you're going to get 2. That's essentially what's had taken place. So you're going to get 2 attacks. That's with an axe, which is, this is a great axe. So that's a 2-handed weapon. So what happens if I decide, well, hang on, I'm not going to use a great axe. Let's go with some light weapons. I'm going to use some light short swords. Okay, I'm going to go 2-weapon fighting. So I'll switch over and I'll go with Drizzt. And Drizzt here essentially has got 2 light weapons. You can now make an attack as your normal action, and you can also use your bonus action to make an attack. I'm going to designate that as the black dice. The only difference is you won't be using your ability modifier to the damage unless you have picked up something like the fighting style 2-weapon fighting. Okay, so that's bonus action. Action. I can use my action surge at level 2, and there we go. Voila! I get 3 attacks. 1 for my first action, another one for the second action I got from my action surge, and another attack because I'm carrying 2 light weapons, 1 in each hand. I can also make a bonus action attack. Now, unless I make an attack with my action, I can't use that bonus action to make an attack. Okay, that's the thing to remember. So that's how that works at that particular stage. But it gets more interesting, right? Because as you get extra attack at level 5, now what I'm doing is I'm going to be rolling 2 dice, and I use my action surge. Doesn't mean you're going to be adding just 1 dice. That's 2 attacks at 5th level. I use my action surge. I get to roll another 2 dice for attacks. And if I'm carrying 2 light weapons, then guess what? I can use my bonus action as well. Not 2 bonus actions, just 1, because remember you can only have 1 on a turn, to make another attack. So that's 5 attacks at level 5 using extra attack, and also if I'm using my action surge. kind of helpful. I know it seems like a good idea. I don't want to go right through all the different levels, but you get the gist of it. That's the basics of it. So what happens if I want to do something other than just attack, which you can do? So I'll break that right down now. What if I want to, I'm here, and I decide, okay, the best action for me is I want to engage. So I move, I make my attack with my 20-sided dice roll. Okay, I still want to continue to move, so I've moved about 20 feet, so I'm going to move away, but I want to use my action surge to disengage. Or maybe better is, in this case, I want to take the dodge action and move away from the creature so I can get myself out of harm's way. I can do that now. So I can use my action surge, take the dodge action, so the creature has disadvantage when it attacks me, and move away. Okay? And the rationale behind this is the creature moves faster than I can, and therefore, even if I do disengage, which I could do, I could decide instead of dodging, I could disengage, okay, and it would get no attack of opportunity on me whatsoever, but it's still going to fly up and attack me anyway. So this is often why taking the dodge action is a really good idea. I can position myself wherever I am. I might decide I'm going to use I've got a fighter who has a bow. So I'm going to take a shot, I make my shot, and then I decide I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and I'm going to go 30 into the bushes over here. I'm going to hide now by using my action surge. So I get to roll a stealth check. Okay, I roll my stealth check, add it to my modifier. So now I'm able to shoot, move, and hide. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. So don't just think your action surge is only useful for making attacks. It's certainly very useful for making attacks, but it's not the only thing it can do. You can also dash. It is possible for this character to get pretty much right across the battlefield if necessary. Let's move our monster out of the way. If I'm over here and I use my movement, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's my movement. I've got my action so I can move again if I want to, which is a dash. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But I'm not finished. I have action surge. I can use my action surge, which gives me another action, and I can dash again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and whoop, we're off the board. Okay? So lots of different things you can do with it. So don't just get caught up in thinking the only thing you can use with it that's worthwhile doing is just making an attack or more attacks, because you can do far more than that in any given turn. And that's really all I wanted to discuss and with regard to action surge. So if you found this video helpful or informative, please share and like the video. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell button to be notified when I'm live, which as it happens I am right now, and when I publish new videos, which happens too. Now if you want to support my channel, you did so by watching this video. Well done, and thank you very much if you managed to get all the way through it. I do appreciate it. I do have hundreds more videos. I have a bunch of videos for players and dungeon masters, often specifically on how to play the game using miniatures and dice and so forth and maps. Now, I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you'll find affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon, where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission, you pay exactly the same price, and that helps support me to buy more equipment and just update things as things wear out. Now, if you have questions, if you have something you would like to add, if there's something that you think I have missed, if you would like to talk about some experiences you've had with Action Surge and your fighter and other classes, I'm happy to talk about that now. Just use the live chat box right this second. Otherwise, that's what the comment section is all about. If you're not part of the live chat, use the comment section. I'll get to your questions as soon as I can, or your feedback. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.